Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
It's time, I think. Okay, so sound levels are probably going to be messed up because sound is sound. Welcome, everyone.
Sound is sound.
I hope you enjoyed that brief intro, which was a tour of my house, because I just got a new house, and some people wanted to know what's up with my house, and that's my house. So I hope you liked the tour of my house. I do want to start this week off by, saying I don't even know how to say which one to say or anything, but for all the veterans, regardless of country or war or anything, whether it's Remembrance Day or Veterans Day or any of those various days, we do thank them all for everything they've done, and for everyone who came before and fought before, and
Thank you.
And now let's begin. So, welcome to the Relay Station. My name is Eris.
Hi.
Beside me is Nehkara. Below him is Fastcart. And beside Fastcart is Shiver. And above Shiver is Eris. And beside Eris is Nehkara. And below Nehkara is Fastcart. And beside Fastcart is Shiver. And above Shiver is Eris.
So let me get this straight. No.
So, I will say that while I was doing the tour of my house, unfortunately the tour was pre-recorded, so I couldn't do a wave, but Mr. Flint Dragon resubscribed, so, woo!
Don't hit your arm.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Do hit your arm.
Knock on you. Don't knock. He's gonna knock it over.
Brings the entire desktop off the table.
And the screen ends.
Stevie Madman, unfortunately the rats actually passed away earlier this year, so they are buried in the garden at my old house.
That's a nice surprise for those people.
I still own the old house.
Oh.
Vince,
So I just want.
Six
I just wanna
F's and
say-
Caps still lives in the basement.
Is he alive?
He is.
Very good.
He's now considered a fixture.
I just want to say good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fastcart, aka FC. But you know what? I can't do this. It's been suggested that I turn my cripple ass down, but you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna get medieval on this stuff. So I'm not gonna hold back. I'm just gonna go full on Evil Knievel, everything.
Evil Knievel. Wow.
And that's the stream for this week. Thanks for coming. See you next week.
Oh my. This is gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Actually, it should be a good one.
You can't keep a good cripple down.
Just take away the wheelchair and you can.
So, how's everyone doing this week?
Already.
Okay.
Okay.
Dead Marius, you got me.
So, Nehkara, I think we should, because we're already starting off so well, I think we should start off by getting a little bit of edutainment. Do you have something to tell us about?
Oh yeah, of course I do. So today, guess what we're going to do? SpaceX. There's a shocker.
Do we do anything else?
We do actually. It's just that no one else has any news that's worthy. So I wanted to talk about this because we actually have some solid information now about what's going to lead up to the launch of Falcon Heavy. So basically the current situation is that Pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center, it will be the launch pad for Falcon Heavy. It is launching one final mission in 5 days. 4 days, 5 days. It's right at midnight on the 15th or early morning on the 16th. Once that mission is launched, that pad will stand down. and will undergo the final upgrades to allow it to launch Falcon Heavy. Those final upgrades are essentially mostly welding. It's believed those upgrades will take about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So you'll probably see the pad being ready for Falcon Heavy right around the end of November.
Do we know if they're doing well on the welding?
So what you're saying that it'll be done
Just
before.
solder on.
Wow.
So what you're saying is it'll be done before 3.0 is out.
Yes, it will. So once the pad is ready, they've actually they do have some information out about their test program. The static fire is currently listed as a tentative date of December 15th, and the launch of Falcon Heavy is tentatively December 29th. What's going to lead up to that is basically a series of what are called verification and validation tests. Basically, they bolt the Falcon Heavy together. They put it on the transporter erector launcher, which is this gigantic structure that both drives the rocket to the pad and actually launches it. And once that's all done, they're going to do a test called a WDR, a wet dress rehearsal. And what that does is basically they fill the entire rocket with fuel and basically do the entire countdown right up to ignition, and then they don't ignite the rocket. They just want to make sure everything's working properly. And then they detank the rocket, so they remove all the fuel. And then they move on to their next test. There is a possibility, because it is SpaceX, there is a slight possibility that if everything up to that first wet dress rehearsal goes absolutely perfectly, that they might go straight into the static fire at that point, which would probably put the static fire more like a week or so earlier than the 15th. But if they're going for an abundance of caution, they would probably do that first wet dress rehearsal and then go into a second wet dress rehearsal several days later, and then do the static fire. So the static fire is basically when they test firing all 27 engines of the Falcon Heavy at the same time on the pad to make sure that they can ignite the engines. Because it has 27 engines, they can't actually they can't ignite them all simultaneously, or the torque would basically rip the rocket apart. They have to ignite them in pairs, which is kind of awkward because there's 27 engines. So one gets left out to the end. But they'll do a staggered light of the engines. They're only 120 milliseconds apart, though, so it'll be very... You'd have to look for it to notice.
Yeah, only 27 engines. Not much.
Nope. No one else in the U.S. launch industry, or even in the launch industry in the world, really has any experience lighting that many engines at once. So it's going to be a bit of an experience. So because of all of these things, if everything goes perfectly, the launch actually might move earlier if everything goes really well, or it could move into 2018 if things go poorly. They do have a very roughly sketched out third wet dress rehearsal and second static fire if they absolutely need it, if things aren't going very well. So that will basically take up all of the time for Pad 39A for up until the Falcon Heavy launch, which is still penciled in for this year, as I mentioned. It looks like it's firming up to definitely launch in December or at the latest January if things go awry.
Which, all things considered, from actually, I think it came from a video that Sean Tracy did with Newegg this week. They are hoping to get 3.0 out
by the end of the year.
So maybe we'll have a dual launch day party of,
you know? Amazing. Although it would really help if the number of bugs didn't continue to go up week to week.
It would.
For 3.0.
It would. But they've kind of changed. Let's actually is there anything more to
I did want to make a couple more very quick mentions. I know that this has probably gone on too long, but there was another flight scheduled yesterday for SpaceX, and this actually brings it up to there were now 4 flights for SpaceX scheduled for December, which will make for one heck of a month. They have one Iridium 4 from their West Coast pad at Vandenberg. They have 2 from the newly reactivated and repaired Space Launch Complex 40, which everyone saw blew up last year. And then they have the 1 launch Falcon Heavy from Pad 39A. So they could have 4 launches in December, which would make for one heck of an end to the year and would bring them up to 21, I believe, 21 total launches, including Falcon Heavy, including 7 reused boosters. Keep in mind, they had never actually reused a booster, anyone in the world, in fact, until March of this year. And so they could be up to 7 reused boosters by the end of the year.
So I have a question, Nehkara.
Yep.
Do cargo on a SpaceX come with LTI?
No. Actually, yes. I believe it does, actually.
They are very well insured, aren't they?
You really wouldn't want to launch a rocket without insurance.
Yeah.
Or a spaceship, for that matter, and Star Citizen.
Yeah.
To break it down real easily, real simple, space is hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's talk about space being hard, because space is hard whether it's real space or fake space.
Fake space.
So one of the things that did actually kind of change in the burn down this week,
alternative space.
They kind of changed how they're talking about things in the burn down. It seemed.
Yeah, they went from being task, like bug task, to like, no, they went from being issues to task oriented.
Yeah. So they've given us a bunch of different, like, areas that they're telling us how many bugs there are, how many tasks they have left to fix. What do you think about this new way of doing it, Nehkara?
I like it. It's well, they had some tasks mixed in throughout the previous weeks, but I think they're just sort of getting to the point now where a lot of the they want to focus more on like the big things that they need to get done before 3.0 launches. I do think it's funny that they're still adding stuff, but I guess we'll have to see. I was very happy that they went to the big 6.0 this week.
What do you think, Shiver?
I think it's certainly a more interesting way to see things. I hope at the moment it's just, you know, the amount of bugs is just slowly going up and issues is slowly going up, but I still think we're over the worst of it, and at some point soon it's just going to reach a point that it just stops and they'll be dealt with. And this just helps, you know, it helps PTU players, you know, the Evocati, and it helps us as backers know exactly whereabouts they are and what they're dealing with, and it's interesting.
I kind of want. I'm not 100% sure actually, but because before they were giving us just the bugs, like the showstoppers, the bugs that had to be fixed before they would release even to the Evocati. Are they giving us that anymore, or are they just giving us an overall?
They're giving us everything. They're giving us everything. Like the ATV before this past Thursday, they said that they had 15 month fix issues from that particular ATV. In this ATV, they went to way more detail. And you can I posted the text from the schedule report. 82 bugs versus 15 month fix issues from last week. So they're getting. I mean, I prefer for ATV to give us the most fixed issues, just to have like at the very end of their burn down segment, just give us the overall picture. Because you know some people don't want to sit through the whole thing, to stick through the whole burn down thing, but they just did each segment and left out the total number.
I've heard that there's a website out there that will actually summarize what happens in every burn down, so you don't actually have to sit through it. I don't know their name offhand though. Anyway, sorry. carry on, Fastcart.
I heard it was delay.
Yes.
Sorry, inside joke.
But there are times when you just want to watch the video and not just read stuff. It's like, who wants to read a book all the time, you know? Some people want to see the movie version.
There you go. So what do you think of the total number? So if you add up all the issues, missions, mobiGlas, performance, traversal, shopping, and ships and vehicles, we're currently at 263 tasks and 82 bugs. Do we think that they're going to get through that in 6 weeks?
Yes.
It's 6 weeks now.
Shiver?
No, I'm at best hoping maybe PTU goes to wider audience around holidays, but it's I mean, they could turn around in 3 weeks' time and say, 12 bugs.
That's
so
what I was thinking.
unlikely, but it
took my
is
answer.
possible.
He took my
Here's
answer.
the
I was gonna say maybe they won't like say like, okay, we can have these bugs in it and just put it out because they're not show-stopping bugs and just do it that way. I don't think they'll get rid of all those tasks and all those bugs by the end of the year. That's 6 weeks.
So here's the thing. Everyone keeps making fun of CIG timelines because historically they've been really, really bad at timelines, and they always mess up their timelines. And so everyone's first thought is, if they say 2017, that means 2018. That's the first thought. And admittedly, you're partially right, but you also have to take into account one of CIG's other worst things that they do every single year. And that is release something well before it should be released at the December live stream, the holiday live stream, 2 days before every single CIG person goes on vacation, so nobody can play anything for 2 weeks. That is what CIG does. It's what they've always done. They are going to put 3.0 live at the holiday live stream. No one's going to be able to play it.
I'm gonna do a slight correction to what you said. They're gonna put it out, yes, but they're gonna have some of the network people stay over the holidays.
Yes,
too.
exactly that. That is what's going to happen. That's what always happens. And you're right for all other times in CIG timelines, but at the holiday live stream, that is when they release things that aren't ready to be released. That is historically when they do it.
Yep.
I can't argue.
I just hope they don't do it this time.
I hope they don't. I really hope they don't.
I think they're going to. I'm not an Evocati or anything, so I'm not under NDA or anything. But they probably will.
I'm gonna say I just hope that they get it done by then.
Yeah. Zenoan there actually makes a good point. Tasks doesn't actually mean added features either. Tasks can be one of the things that they were talking about in this week's ATV was the kiosks in some shops didn't look good enough, so we updated the kiosks. That was a task. It wasn't a bug. It wasn't something that, would break things for everyone. It was just, this is something that we'd like done. You can go do this. Because keep in mind, they do have like 400 people to work on this, right? 400 people divided by 280 tasks, even if you take, let's say, 200 of them off for Squadron 42 and other things, you've still got like one person to assign to each task. And I know that that's not how it works, and it doesn't work, different people can't do different tasks, but the spirit of it.
What if they did something like crowdsource tasks to outside of CIG, like to the community?
They've actually tried that. I think it was called Star Marine.
Good comeback.
Thank you.
Thank you. So another good example of a task was that it was realized this week that they weren't displaying the total heat pool for the ships.
Yeah.
So they are adding that in. They also realized they needed a toggle for the radar in the star map. That's a little feature, or not a little feature, a little task.
One of the things now, I might have
So it's
misunderstood when I was watching that segment, but it sounded like he was saying that radar could be added to your star map. Like it might
Yes.
not be a default thing. Like you could buy a radar add-on to your star map and zoom in further to you. And I don't know if that's what they meant, but I was
I
thinking
don't think
about
it's
it's
about
like,
buying anything. I think that's just how the radar is going to work.
but I thought that might be neat. Like you get your first Mobiglass and it's very bare bones, and then you can actually buy add-ons, like buy a
Oh,
more
I
detailed
absolutely think
map
that's going to be a thing. I just don't think they're not going to allow you to have any radar until you buy it.
Oh no, but I don't know. I was thinking about the
Like a long range radar, maybe.
yeah,
That would
that's
be cool.
Anyway,
Yep. And like maybe you could have, instead of like a radar, you could have like a long range resource scanner or something.
yeah.
And you have different types of radar for depending on what kind of career or profession you want to do. Like mining will have their own radar for finding different ores and minerals.
Yep.
Will there be now that this is just a question? You're probably going to laugh at me, but is there a difference between a radar and a sensor?
No way.
Yeah, is there a difference? Yes, there is. What is the difference? I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a science human person.
I think a sensor may be a lesser version of a radar. Like a radar is a better version of a sensor.
I kind of hope that they do like radars that actually have to do the radar sweep and actually have to ping off things, and there's a delay to the radar, and like yes, you hear that your radar detects that someone shot over there, but it depended on like the radar getting the sound. Like there's a delay to the radar, and then you could buy better radars that would lessen the delay and increase the range. And yeah,
So what you're saying is like you'd be okay with something like a golf swing for a radar? No.
yes,
Sorry.
yes. As someone that wishes he could play golf, I hope every day that virtually all mechanics in Star Citizen are simplified
Golf
down
swings.
to a golf swing, so that when I go to shoot someone, it's just a golf swing, and if I hit it the right time, I do critical damage.
Ass.
Yeah,
Ass. At least you can play golf.
I can't.
I was going to say that didn't work out very well for Shinzo Abe.
I actually cannot play golf. Every time I swing, my shoulder dislocates.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
Don't do that. Don't play golf.
I don't.
Your arm might fall right off.
It could. I had to
Yeah.
stop playing golf because my shoulder dislocates every time I swing.
You might want to get that looked at.
Yeah.
I have actually. I'm literally just missing a bunch of muscles in my arm. They don't
nice.
exist.
I mean, if you go to the doctor and say it hurts when I do this, then don't do that.
It hurts when I breathe. So, okay, so we've talked about the 3.0
Don't stop breathing.
we've talked about 3.0 by the end of the year as one of their goals, but another of the goals that I thought is really interesting is 60 plus players.
Yes, that was
That
in the
came out of
new.
nowhere.
That's in the new extreme.
Yeah. That would be really good.
Yes, it would. Not only that, from all reports, their tests with 60 players went quite well. They were apparently getting 60 players with 30 FPS performance, which, isn't amazing for a final game, but for the game in alpha, it's pretty awesome.
Keep in mind, we used to get 20 FPS with one player. So,
Or you got 20, I was looking at 8 sometimes.
yeah. Okay. We've got a little bit of time left. I want to talk about first, what do you guys all think about the new quantum, both the quantum effects and the way quantum is now going to be working, where it kind of spools up and... Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's freaking awesome. They had to do it, first of all. It was not mentioned at all during the show, but I'm pretty sure that interdiction wouldn't have worked without them doing this. Because before it was just you jumped here to here. That's it. I don't know if there was any way for the game to tell where you were in your jump at any given time. Now they can tell exactly where you are at any given time, how far into your jump you are.
Flint has a good question.
So
I'm hoping to be able to like swap engines so that if you like a particular jump effect, you can get that jump effect for your ship, or maybe like I don't know, like for the Banu, they may have a special jump effect just for that just for the Banu race and stuff like that. So
Two flaming tire tracks and a spinning number plate that says "out of time."
Flint, so Flint asks or just says, "I want to be able to just jump without a target." That has, I'm assuming it's going to be in there, because they've talked in the past about being able to set your own destinations, and
but
also
you might
just
still
to be
have
able
to
to
set the target. You might have to go into your star map,
like a manual nav point.
Yeah.
Or you might be able to
bookmark.
just do. You might just be able to do just like an emergency jump to quantum. But that's for later on player testing or play testing. I think that it'll come.
I actually hope that you can't just do an emergency jump to quantum. You still have to spool things up and do calculations.
No.
And
I mean,
you would always have to do the spool
emergency.
up, yeah.
I mean emergency jump to quantum without setting a target.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But no, it'll still have to spool up the drive and then spool up the speed. So I think that's just sort of going to be an escape mechanism, and then depending how big your ship is, it takes different amount of times to spool up the drive, and so on and so forth.
I like that there is now a spool up to it, because it feels like a bit more of a thing. You know, I shouldn't be able to just go near enough light speed on the drop of a coin. It should be quite a monumentous task. I want to hear my ship straining to a certain degree and then go, oh, I've just hit the mark, and then it starts straining again.
And it'll be interesting. They could base some gameplay elements based on how fast you can spool up. Like there'll be certain ships that like a scout ship, you want to spool up pretty fast. You can get the hell out of where you want to go and dodge and stuff like that. So
I want Star Wars. I want there to be panic on a ship as they're trying to go to light speed or whatever, and they're under attack and people are shooting them and they're waiting for it to spool up and they gotta hit speed before they can actually go right and get the hell out of it. I want that, because that's fun. So I
agree.
All my ships will require that I get up to 88 miles per hour. So that's gonna be a hell of a long time on a whole sea. No, I'm fine.
Can't you just get out and push it for a bit more speed?
Oh God, no.
So I wanted to. I mean, Vidan Gerald said, "How do you discover new shit if you can only jump to places you've already been?" That's exactly my point. I definitely think you're going to be able to set your own locations, and at some point in the alpha, you were able to just jump into quantum.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going away. That exploration's huge. You have to be able to go places that just like are over there.
I mean,
you know,
I've always sort of pictured deep space exploration in my head as basically the way Eve does it, but rather than just rather than the exact method of something a bit more involved, of just you deploy some probes out there, they find certain targets, and then you just gradually ping it down, find out what it is, where it is, and hope no one ganks you while you're waiting.
Well, Commander Llama there says that they'd rather just hit F. Fun fact, everything in Star Citizen will actually be accomplishable by just hitting F. It's been under
Reminds
NDA.
me of Star Trek Online. It was mad. You would do these missions in Star Trek Online, and it's like gives you this great big huge text box. It's like, oh, I've got to swap the power conduits out for the transwarp relays. Press F. Now all I have to do is translate this ancient unknown language into something modern. Press F. I'm hoping that at the end of the day, Star Citizen looks at that and goes, yeah, all right, you press F to start the mechanic, and then you've got to actually do something.
Yeah.
Rather than
Wait,
just
might have to actually
watch
have
this
pressed
bar
like
go.
T or something.
Well, I
Let's
was
not
kind
go
of hoping
crazy.
that you might actually have to, in order to be a science, to be a science officer on a ship, you might actually have to,
Ossifer?
What?
Ossifer?
Ossifer?
A
Yes,
science ossifer?
you might have to be a science ossifer. You might have to, get an undergrad, go for your master's, get your master's, go for your doctorate, get a doctorate, then go and matriculate and have at least 7 to 10 years of experience in the field before you will get on signed on as a science officer to a ship.
And how do you do those things? You hit F.
Can't I just blow up someone else's ship and steal their certificate and say it's mine?
Stop using big words.
Scribble out the name.
You use matriculate in a sentence, and I think you use it correctly.
Well, yeah, of course I did.
But if hacking becomes a thing in Star Citizen, that'll be screw up a whole bunch of people's lives. Because I hit F and I wanted to go to quantum drive. I'm like, why is my ship just self-destructing?
Yeah.
My
really,
F key changed.
there have been a few games actually that I've found that will use the same one key for everything, whether it be E or F or whatever, but they're all like, to open this chest, hit E. Also, to get on a bike, hit E. Also, to equip something, hit E. Also, to interact with a person, hit E. And now you've got a loot crate and a bike and a person in the same area, and you're like, I can't hit E because I can't get the thing that I want to do on the. Give me different.
You have to move close. You have to hump the thing that you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to hump the ship.
You have to invade the personal
Yes, you
space
do.
of whatever you want to interact with.
I mean,
In a
yeah,
sexy
but
ship, you might want to reconsider.
depends on the ship.
Oh.
I mean, man, that endeavor. Whew.
Well, we know you really have a thing for the Hornet.
The Hornet
Speak.
can literally choke on a cactus.
Is that before or after they slaughter you in a combat fight? As opposed to a non-combat fight where, a hornet comes out and says paper, scissors, stone.
Speaking of hornets and endeavors,
Okay, we've gone slightly. Okay, go ahead, Fastcart. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that the anniversary sale has been announced, but its date is November 24th, December 4th, I believe.
Yeah, and it looks like they've got at least one new ship that looks interesting. You should go check out some pictures of it. There's some pictures on the Reddit and also in an email that CIG sent out that I didn't get.
Get it?
I didn't get it. I only sometimes get their emails. It's really weird.
This week's one went to my junk mail. Check your junk mail.
Yeah, I probably did. It's some days, like I got the one saying they put out an ATV, but then I don't get the one saying there's an anniversary. It's messed up. Anyway, the new ship looks kind of interesting. It looks on that graphic kind of like it's taking off from a planet. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a scout ship. I feel it's small enough for a scout ship. The wings look that they can fold. It might be a scout ship for a Carrack. It does have
I haven't seen it yet. Can someone pull it up?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can send it to
For
you.
reference, the scout ship for the Carrack is the Aegis Pisces, I believe.
Yes.
The Aegis Pisces?
Is it
Oh, it's Anvil.
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 I always get those two bloody confused.
Yeah.
Aegis Anvil.
It looks good. It looks good. I'm hoping that it is actually the scout ship for the Carrack, especially since they did tell us that they'd be focusing a lot on Carrack and exploration and things coming up. So it looks like a good ship. It looks like it's taking off. I really hope it lands vertically on a planet. That would be really bloody cool. All the ships so far land like planes. Actually, I don't. Do I have the image?
I got it from the car just now.
Give me 1 second. I will see if I can pull it up on the screen. But lots of the ships kind of look like. Here it is. Save image as desktop. Sure. Here. Add.
Don't cross the streams.
Image. Desktop. This. Okay. So here's the image in question.
I'm with Goat. Never going to land vertical. That's like Hornet.
But here's my thing. Right now, so everything lands like either a plane or the shuttle. Whereas right now, shuttles are dead. Shuttles didn't fucking work. And everyone knows that anytime you fly in a plane, you immediately die. Right now, all space travel is done via rocket that you sit back in like this and launch straight up. I want at least one Star Citizen ship that actually lands like that comes down and lands in preparation
like the last Starfighter.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the you talking about land vertically, or maybe I'm not understanding what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, that's what it means.
Yeah. Land vertically.
How the SpaceX rocket lands right now.
Oh.
Instead of coming in for a landing like this, it just comes down. And then it's there, and then it's ready to just go up.
Can ships not... I mean, definitely in some environments, but I would have thought that most ships could do VTOL.
Yes, they can. Well, I mean, I don't know if I would class most ships as landing like planes. Most of them land on legs, which is more like...
But they still land... Like, they come in and they fly and they go, oh, punk. I want something that just goes. I want a fucking.
Am I really watching this? What's going on? Are you having a stroke?
I want to fly a SpaceX rocket in Star Citizen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Have you played Kerbal Space Program?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
You should. There you go. It's unlikely a sci-fi ship would land like that.
And that's a problem, because right now all ships land like that. And I think that there should be something that calls back to the way that space works now. At least one thing.
Basic, though. It goes back to being primitive, of like having to use a huge amount of land to stop one ship. That's what we do now, and it's incredibly inefficient, really.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is 930 years in the future, so why would they have stuff to primitive landing?
Okay, so how long ago did we use caravels to travel the ocean?
Couple hundred years.
Yeah, guess what? People still use those. They still fit them up. They still run them today.
Yeah, because they're nostalgic.
Yeah, so I want a nostalgia ship. Give me my nostalgia rocket.
Suddenly come to a stop.
All right, crowd out there, all you people watching us, do you want ships that land like SpaceX rockets?
And Star Citizen, I mean, we already have them in Star Citizen, like the Reliant kind of does.
Really, when you think about it, a rocket isn't exactly the most elegant of tech. It is designed to brute force something into orbit, and then when it drops down, to miss the Earth. That's what it comes down to.
Yep. I'm with Commander Llama. I want a vintage ship series for hipster space folk.
Do you want it to be like the Flintstones car? You've got to stick your feet out. And like...
Shiver, at least you have legs.
Oh, wow.
It's all right, Fastcart. There's such a thing as a handbrake.
That's only for braking, though, not for going. Unless you like, you got to put yourself at the top of a hill, go down, and make a ramp to take off.
See, that's the spirit.
I want a Zeus.
Flint just reminded me of something.
Yeah.
They teased the Zeus before CitizenCon and then never mentioned it at CitizenCon.
Yep.
What was that about, CIG?
They did what?
The Zeus.
The RSI Zeus.
They put a CitizenCon 2947 logo on the Zeus and tweeted it out, and then they never said word one about it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would buy one of those if it was like a proper ship. I'd buy one like just so I could reenact Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
I personally don't want it to be for sale. I just want them to tell me that they're going to be in the game somewhere.
Isn't that a model? Flare?
When you say in the game, do you mean like flying
I mean the actual ship?
Oh, actual ship.
Well, I think there is.
want some crazy ass like ship collector on some backworld moon to just like collect old ships and restore them and fly them around.
Now, I might be confusing a wish with something that's actually going to be in the game. That's possible. And if it is, I've got really bad wishes here. But isn't there actually a museum?
Yes.
Or going to be a museum in the game where you can go and see that shit?
In lore, there is. The question is, will there be others not just in a museum? It's like, there's an Avro Arrow in a museum, but guess what? That shit doesn't fly. I would like there to be actual Zeuses out there. I mean, keep in mind,
is that the plural for Zeus? It's not Zeus I.
It's the
Zeus.
It's Zeus. It's Zeus.
A number of Zeus ships.
I would like there to be many Zeus in the verse. As the first person to properly conjugate Zeus, Zeus is now the official conjugation of Zeus's. But like, even think now. I know it wasn't as long ago as it is in verse, but there's plenty of Ford Model Ts around. I remember like 3 or 4 years ago, up here in the middle of buttfuck nowhere in Ottawa, I saw a wedding, and every single car in the wedding was a Model T. There were about 20 or 30 Model Ts in a row in this wedding.
Cool.
It was really cool. But, like, Model Ts are still around. They're still common. You can still have them. My grandfather actually had a Ford Model T fire truck.
Well, yeah, but the one thing you need to realize is you're more talking about like Roman chariots here rather than Model Ts.
I know.
The Zeus is almost 1,000 years old.
I know. But things preserve a hell of a lot better drifting in space because their pilot had a heart attack than they do buried under 400 tons of volcanic ash, which is basically all that Italy is made up of.
This is true. Now, They do preserve well in space as long as they're nowhere near, or as long as they're shielded from radiation.
Yeah. There's one more thing that I really want to touch on before we get to question time. It is just about question time, so if you guys could throw some questions in the question doc by hitting ! Question mark in the chat, because the bot works this week. I don't know why, because I went on and it.
Or if you speak English, ! Question mark.
Yes. But I didn't actually change anything. I don't know why it didn't work last week. There's one last thing I want to talk about, which was super cool. It was shown in Happy Hour this week. And it was them, for the first time, showing a component being slotted into a component slot. And slotting that component into the slot gave the place power. That is huge. Turning on the lights, Fastcart just linked it. Fucking amazing. Like, this is the stuff that we always, like, they've been talking about components mattering for a long time, and we've been waiting for Items 2.0 and components for a long fucking time, and this is what it allows. This kind of, oh, guess what? When you got shot, the thing that was shot, the exact thing that was hit, was the battery for your lights. So guess what? Your lights don't work. But don't worry, because you can open up a panel, replace that fucking battery, and your lights will work again. Like, it's fucking insane. The detail.
Conversely, this means, though, that if you want to go to red alert on your ship from now on, it does mean changing the bulb.
Sure. I don't know if you guys have them over there in the United Kingdom, but we here
England, thank you.
You're in the UK.
That's like me saying you're in the Commonwealth.
Well, I am. The Queen,
okay,
the Queen is on my
man.
The Queen is on my money, and I celebrate
Canadian
Remembrance
syrup
Day.
is now known as Commonwealth syrup.
I'll let them know.
Commonwealth syrup. Anyway, please continue.
It doesn't matter. It's done.
You may
We have
forget.
light bulbs.
We have light
Light bulbs,
bulbs
right.
that change colors, Shiver. They're a thing that exists. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't buy a red one in this country. It means something very promiscuous.
Like
Roxanne. No, I'm not gonna say.
you don't have to put on the red light. Okay. It's question time. I'm gonna go over to the question document now, and there better be a damn good raft of questions, or I'm gonna be sorely disappointed.
Solely disappointed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't call me Shirley.
You know what I actually really liked from the happy hour was they were talking about like basically no part of the outpost that you see is useless or fluff. It all does something. So, like if you see the solar panels outside the facility, if you destroy them, then you destroy the power supply for that outpost. If you see the air filtration or whatever, the atmosphere unit, you can destroy it, and then anyone who's inside who doesn't have a helmet on will die. You know, things like that. And you know, if it has a communications relay, if you destroy the communications relay, they can't communicate. I love that stuff. Just makes it
It's
better.
very similar to burglary when you think about it, isn't it?
Burglary?
Burglary?
You cut the phone lines, you cut the power source,
Shiver, what
and
is
then you go
what is
in.
burglary?
Oh, fuck off. Kiss my ass, Commonwealth man. How do you say concierge?
Concierge.
No, no.
Guess what, Shiver? Concierge is a French word.
You got him started. That was your fault.
There's
That's on
no
you.
accent. There's no accent on it when I spell it in English.
Yeah, well, it's the same way I cannot help but pronounce spaghetti.
So Ashley asks, do any of us plan to learn little bit of Jean?
No.
No.
A little bit.
Maybe Matthew.
Me
Only
and
the-
Nitro,
oh-
we're going to learn one phrase.
Only the swears.
No, I don't want to learn a video game language. I think it's really cool that it is an actual language. It's great. I really like that they're putting the effort into making the languages distinct and unique and not just a swap out of letters with symbols and all the words are still spelt the same. Like that is like CIG going above and beyond fucking everything. But no, I am not going to learn Xi'an because quite frankly, the time it would take me to learn Xi'an, I'd much rather spend playing the fucking game or, quite frankly, playing any other fucking game. I don't have the time to learn a real language that could actually benefit me in real life, like French or Mandarin or Japanese or anything. I can't spend the time to learn a fake video game language. I can't!
To expand on what Eric said, instead of learning a video game language, I could actually get better at the actual game.
That too, yeah.
Except for Banu.
Project Sinus asks, what did you like more, Gamescom 2016 or CitizenCon 2017?
CitizenCon 2017.
I'm biased because I went to VerseCon, so I have to say CitizenCon, but I'm biased.
CitizenCon 2017 was excellent. It was really good. I really liked the expanded format. I really wish I had been there. Even if the stuff that they showed off is not categorically the best they've ever showed off, some of the other stuff that they've showed off was also excellent. The main presentation was great, but then it was added onto by all of the panels. So I think CitizenCon 2017 is the best thing that they've done yet.
And did you guys hear they had a game changer?
Did you guys
The
hear?
Saber
I
Raven model.
I think that there was a model of a Saber Raven there. I've heard.
I love you guys.
Okay. So Captain PNS asks, if they show us the Squadron 42 vertical slice at the holiday live stream, will they also release a playable demo? No.
No. And I'm not.
Oh, of course. No. He literally, if you ask Chris Roberts that question, his nose would stretch on into infinity.
Yeah. Yeah. Spacehead asks, if space is a vacuum, who changes the bags?
It's a Dyson.
You really shouldn't
That's
refer to
gameplay.
ladies like that. It's not very appropriate.
Wow.
At least what I said was funny.
Wow.
Fucking young Frankenstein. Fuck you. God damn.
Wow.
Everyone is critic.
So disappointed in you.
Wow.
Let's carry on.
Well-
Let's try and move on from this.
No, we're gonna
All
stay
right.
here for the rest of the night. Brivals
Do you
asks.
think the new metrics are?
Hey,
for
hey,
PTU
that's
release
my
or the
job,
first wave
Shiver.
PTU?
Shiver, that is my job. Shiver, read the question.
I think after that joke, that's it.
I don't know what he means, but what's the difference between PTU release or first
I,
wave?
I missed the question. question.
Do you think the new metrics are for PTU release or first wave PTU? I guess he means that are they going to do waves of PTU or is it just going to be for everybody?
Waves. They've actually recently said that concierge is now considered first wave as well. So they're definitely going to continue doing waves of PTU.
I think it's just smarter
Yep.
than trying to release to a
2 million
gajillion people
yeah.
at once.
Brivals also asks, anyone actively learning Xi'an? You know what? Anyone in the chat actively learning Xi'an? And anyone not actively learning Xi'an, do you plan on learning any SC languages? And if so, which one?
I already said Banu, but I'm not in the chat. Well, I'm counting him in the chat. But
You're in the
also,
chat.
one of the top 5 MPPs this week had a website for the Xeon translator.
Language, yeah.
So
Which
you
is
might
pretty
be
cool.
interested in that. I don't have the link for it, unfortunately, but yes.
Confused is learning Xi'an. Okay. I guess CS. I don't know if CS is. Brivals asks, do you think CIG could have padded out the new quantum drive section with more ramping it up descriptions? I think they probably could have ramped up the they set up this ramp of questions, and it would have been nice if they'd ramped up to it a little bit more and gone through the entire ramp of questions. I don't know how else they could describe the ramp really. I mean, it was slightly angled and rampular, but yeah, they could have probably increased the frequency of ramp descriptions.
There was so much ramping that it set up like the evil Knievel in me. Like, I'm just ready to jump.
I was going to say something about accessibility, but okay.
Oh god. Nope. Moving on. Moving right the fuck on.
I personally like that segment, so all of you can screw off.
Okay.
No, I think some people were a little turned off by the math, but
I don't understand math. It's still cool to hear them talk about it.
Wait, are you saying that a fraction of people were turned off by the maths?
That's right.
Only 3/5.
3/5?
So people were quite divided over it.
yes,
Is that the sum of everything you've got to say?
yes.
Shiver. It wasn't quite Brexit. So it's
Shiver,
fine.
there are times. There are times.
Do they multiply?
Oh god.
Okay, do you people see what I have to deal with? Oh man!
As long as no one divided by 0, so we're fine.
All right.
So,
Swear
Mick
words, don't worry.
Wabbit asks, fucking hell, why do light bulbs not have their own built-in power plant or battery 900 years in the future? Because they're space bulbs.
I was literally just gonna say they're space LEDs, and they need the largest battery known to man in order to function properly because they have a bulb length of 9 million years.
Actually, no. You know what it is? It's because in space you can pick up a giant container, right? But have you ever tried to put AA batteries into a thing wearing winter gloves?
It's a good point.
Straight up. Go try it. You'll
At least
wish
you
that
have
everything
that.
had its own damn battery pack.
This is a Canadian experience brought to you by Eris.
This is a random note, but I was watching Marquez Brown. He was talking about the new Pixel Chromebook, and it had this stylus, and inside the stylus has quadruple A batteries. I've never seen or heard of quadruple A batteries before.
What?
So that was a random note.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, right. Everyone has the same reaction I have.
Yeah, and try putting quadruple A batteries into a stylus wearing winter gloves.
Moving on.
All right, so
It's winter in Canada, okay? Give me a break. Someone from Relay asks, if you have a land claim in the verse and decide to declare independence from the UEE, what would you name your new nation?
Black Jurassic World.
Don't think anyone's going to beat that. So a smart
I
ass...
think I would have to go with New Switzerland because I'm a fan of Switzerland. I mean, the flag is a big plus.
I would call it This Land. And if anyone gets that reference, I'm going to give you a round of applause.
I'm just thinking of a song.
Nope.
I want to say I get it, but it's on. No.
It's a Firefly reference.
Yes.
I will.
Darn. Okay.
This land.
This Land.
So a smartass asks, list your favorite types of rafts.
I like rafty rafts. Personally.
Buoyant
Floaty
ones.
raft.
Buoyant ones are really good. They're really. I heard that's the new wave.
Yep. So Brivals asks, is it true that CIG marketing put a moratorium on CIG employees leaking details a la Ben's Day with Nikki? I think they more put a moratorium on one person in the community getting constant CIG developers on every single week for a show without any pass-through from legal, because anyone, like if we want to have someone from CIG on, we can't just go directly to them. We have to go through legal, through David Swafford, etc. And as far as I'm aware, Backer was actually the only person that was getting people on regularly without going through that. And basically, I think what they've said is you have to go through that as well. Yeah.
I don't think there's any kind of moratorium or anything. I think they just want to have it more standardized.
Yeah, they just want everyone should have to go through the same process. It's not saying you can't have people on. It's if you want them on, you have to go through the same process that everyone else has to. Vidan Jorel.
Before we do that, I just want to say hi to Stormy and let CS know that he is now Commonwealth Syrup.
Yeah.
Yes, we renamed him.
CS is Commonwealth Syrup. So Vidan Jorel asks, FPS or player count, which is more important to them and why? Right now, player count, because they want to make sure the networking works, because everything is more of a networking problem right now. FPS will get worked out later. It tends to be worked on later in the development life cycle of a game. Right now, it's about player count. 100% about player count, and it should be.
And also...
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Fastcart.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, technically it's still alpha, but do you guys consider it more alpha or more beta these days?
Oh, alpha.
Alpha as fuck.
100%.
Star Citizen is alpha as fuck. And
I can't hear you.
oh, hey, Stormy is here.
Nope.
Hey, random Stormy shows up.
They're just him. That's all. Random Stormy, right there.
Hey, Stormy. Next,
So I wanted to mention.
Go.
See, at first I wasn't sure if that was Stormy or Justin Bieber, but it turned out to be Stormy.
They're both Canadian.
She's gonna kill you.
I'm okay with being killed by Stormy. That's fine.
So I just wanted to say that it should be noted that the FPS might be similar to what it was in previous patches, but there's a lot of graphical upgrades in 3.0, including anti-aliasing, or aliasing.
So Tom Trustworthy asks, The mining outpost that they showed, does it just drill down from the module in the building? That's what it kind of looked like.
I mean, it kind of looked like that to me too. I'm not really sure.
It would make sense.
I think that question is mostly just a pun for drill down and mining.
It could be.
Everyone's got to get in on the act now.
Mm-hmm.
Triangularity asks, any ideas what the next concept ship is, or what kind of a role it will have? I'm really hoping there's some speculation going on right now that it might be the scout ship, the Pisces, from the Carrack. I really hope it is, because the wings do look like they could fold down. It is an anvil ship. The anvil Carrack is an anvil ship. Also, keep in mind, the Carrack was originally a UEE ship. It was originally military exclusive. They only expanded it to citizens and such later on. So it is very possible that that is actually the add-on ship from the Carrack. And they have actually done concept sales like that before, where they didn't sell, like where they only sold, a rover or an Ursa or, one of the add-on ships. So they have been known to do that. I do question if that's what they're going to do, because as we were discussing earlier, Nehkara and I and Shiver, I don't remember who. Yeah, Nehkara and I and Shiver were discussing earlier in the Patreon hangout that we have once a month. If you're a patron of Relay, which you can do over at patreon.com/relay_SC. If you're one of the patrons, whatever the fuck you call them, we hang out once a month, though we haven't done it often recently, but we did one today because we're on top of things recently here at Relay. One of the things we were talking about earlier is that CIG are right now, what, 12 million below?
They're $12 million below last year's total at the end of the year, which means they need to make $12 million before the end of the year to match their income from last year.
I don't feel like an add-on ship like that, a scout ship, a ship that's, quite frankly, probably really restricted to the Carrack. You can probably buy one if you don't have a Carrack, but it's probably not going to have jump capability. I don't feel like a ship like that is going to get them, $2 or $3 million.
No, and also it should be noted that, like, with the anniversary sale not starting till the end of November, they're basically boxing themselves into, we have to make probably $11 million in a month to make it.
I mean, you guys say have to use words like have to or need to. They don't have to or need to make this money. I mean, they have plenty of money. It's just that they want to keep up with last year. Or
that is a good point.
Sure, but they don't have to do that.
They don't have to. I'm saying just if they have an internal goal of, we would like to make as much money as we did last year, that's what they have to do.
Keep in mind, they might actually make a hell of a lot more if they announce Squadron 42 at the December live stream. Say, we have a release date for Squadron 42. It's July 27th, 2018. If you want to purchase it before then, you can get it at the introductory price of $45.99 American dollars, and if you wait, as soon as it launches, it's going up to $69.99.
Now that's what I was going to say.
He's not confirming a date, by the
way.
No,
I'm just bullshitting. I'm just.
The other thing they could do at the live stream is announcing the price increase at a certain date, like February 14th, like it did a couple of years ago.
They could say, the price is going to remain what it is until the end of the year, which is like 12 days from now, and then it's going up to $50, and then in 3 months after that, it's going up to $60.
Yeah, I still think if they go with 3.0 to PTU for all backers, they will bring in more money than if they say a Squadron 42 date.
But if they did both, they do both, and I'm okay. So here's part of the thing. I really want to have. I wish friggin' Sixer Fixer's on deployment right now, so I can't bring him on because I really want to get him on again. Him and Commander Llama is actually in there somewhere in chat. I want to get some of the more regular people that I know on again, because that is a question. Like, how many people out there really don't care too much about it, because we still haven't seen anything about Squadron 42. We don't know what's happening with the single player. Like, we're far away from the multiplayer. But if they actually showed off a vertical slice of Squadron 42, do you think that you might get a lot more people being more interested in the game all of a sudden?
It really depends what it is. If it's something really flashy that they can release as like a trailer to the wide expanses of the internet, then that's one thing. Then if it's easily consumable, if it's a 2-hour-long gameplay demo that's super buggy and, you know, has lots of problems and missing textures and crap, then no, it's not going to help.
I mean, if they show off something like the Morrow Tour, that's going to be more for already people who are backers, you know, because it's not exciting or full of explosions and lens flares, is it? But it also satiates current backers rather than bringing new ones, which is kind of a middle ground.
Sorry, I was blocking my lens flare just now.
I thought you had a question.
No, that's what I do. I wanted to say that you're talking about concept ship for the anniversary sale. You think it's going to be the Carrack fighter? I'm expecting at least one more space bike or a bike. That's just me.
I think it might be one, but I don't think they're going to announce it anytime soon because I think people are sick and tired of space bikes.
Okay, so here
I want a space tank.
I got a question for everyone, and I'm going to start it to give you guys time to think. But I want to hear your ideal holiday live stream. So for me, the ideal holiday live stream would be a focus on mining and showing how mining is going to be coming in 2018 and showing the progress they've got on mining with a small or medium, like probably a medium-sized mining ship unveiled as a concept ship. Then Squadron 42, and then update. Well, actually, no. Then timeline. The timelines, an updated timeline, and an updated what was it they called the 3.0, what is it called?
Roadmap?
Yeah, I want the roadmap for 3.0, 3.1, 3.2 and beyond, the roadmap for Squadron 42, and then I want the demo of Squadron 42, and then done. What is your... That to me would be the perfect live stream. Nehkara?
So I'm gonna... First of all, I don't think they'll have the roadmap. Because they've said repeatedly, and they said again this week, they won't have it until 3.0 is live. I think because they don't want to commit to certain features until they're done with 3.0. So I'm gonna say more. I would like to see some future stuff for the persistent universe. So mining's a good example. Maybe a salvage too. Like a medium salvage ship. I would like to see a gameplay demo for Squadron 42, and I would like to see a trailer for Squadron 42 as well, which will attract outside interest. I would like to see, and this is something that is supposed to be there, the production roadmap for Squadron 42. That is supposed to be there, and I expect to see it. So it better be there. Shaking my finger at UCIG.
Yeah. Fastcart, what do you think?
And yeah, Fastcart.
I'm expecting to see all the faces that they captured at CitizenCon a couple months ago be updated and polished and stuff like that. No, I'm kidding about that, but I would like to see that. But I thought that was interesting, and hopefully they'll do that at future events, not just CitizenCon. For real though, like I would like to see a roadmap. I don't know if they're gonna do it, but I would like to see a roadmap for like mining, farming, stuff like that, because industrial stuff. I'm not expecting a vertical slice demo. I would like to hopefully, before they do all that, I hope they put out a benchmark so people can test their machine to see if the game will work on their personal machine. But I don't think that to be out for the holiday live stream. But basically, most of the other stuff you said, I agree with.
Okay. Shiver, what do you think?
Obvious aside, I think I definitely agree with the roadmap.
Oh god.
Definitely agree with the roadmap, but I've got I wouldn't say lower expectations, just like whatever they're willing to show from Squadron is what I want.
Okay.
I don't
that's a good
want
answer.
to be like, I expect this or I expect that. It's just whenever they feel it's ready to show, that's when I'm ready to say it.
Okay. So I want to run through a few of these questions. We've got a decent number of questions, which good job, guys. So Sammy asks, Squirrel?
Where's the squirrel?
Sammy's a good boy. Headclot asks, what are your thoughts on the 60-player servers that are currently in testing? Good.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
In the right direction.
I
Can't
like
wait to see it. Can't wait to see it in the live not demo. You know what I'm talking about.
Environment.
Thank you.
Headclot also asks, what are your thoughts on the Microsoft Kinect production being stopped? If Microsoft chose to actually do something useful with the tech that it is creating, because the tech that it's creating is excellent, but then it kind of locks shit in the Windows 10 ecosystem that literally no one or their dog or their dead cat care about. If Microsoft actually started being decent, their stuff would be decent, but they got to stop trying to lock their shit behind walls that no one wants to deal with.
No thoughts. I just have a PC.
I just have a PC and like to connect. You talking about like the hand?
The Kinect, the sensor.
The motion detector.
Well,
the
here's
motion
the thing.
detector.
Okay, here's the
I
thing.
already know about
Bulkheads.
it.
And
right now,
microphone, I believe.
bulkheads can't do custom animations. It's all hand done and hand done through CryEngine, and Fiendish Feather's been doing an amazing job doing it all. But there was some talk about possibly being able to do motion capture, cheap motion capture with a Kinect, and transferring that into bulkheads and things working. That's amazing. That idea is amazing. Some of the things that Kinect could do, if it was supported properly and if it was ported over to the things that it should be ported over to, are amazing. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and it's kind of sad that it's dying, but I kind of hope it's more like how the Google Glass died. Google Glass died, and now it's been brought back and put into use in like car manufacturing and industrial places where it can benefit the people that need to use it. Kinect will be really good if they'd focus on the people that it could benefit. Anyway,
The problem is, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here. I think
Let me do a bad joke real quick before you
Okay.
before you rant. I just want to say a motion captured bulkhead might be a bad idea because imagine all the stuff Twin Dane will do. That's all I want to say.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Go ahead.
Genius. Well, a lot of the reasons why Kinect died, a lot of the reasons why Google Glass died, is people's rampant paranoia. Period. Kinect died because everyone was like, it's watching me when I'm naked and it's sending all of my naked pictures to Microsoft, and there's a bunch of guys at Microsoft sitting around watching me naked on the couch, and I'm gonna...
That's true, really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's the
Then
same
why
thing
are they
with
doing
Google
it
Glass.
willingly on Facebook?
Same thing with Google Glass. The privacy paranoia was through the roof.
I find that really funny because most people are like, I'm going to post exactly where I am at all times on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you literally every single piece of information about me. But oh my God, you're watching me?
Now,
no, you can't watch me. Don't watch me. I'm doing something private in my own private home. I didn't invite you in, except I did invite you in by turning you on and plugging you in.
Now, in fairness, two things. the whole thing with microphones and cameras watching you, there's a small fraction of people, at least in this country, that are paranoid enough to think that in all digital TV receivers there is a microphone and camera watching you. Second of all, they actually found a microphone that is permanently on, and if it's connected to the internet, does apparently send it back to Samsung if you've got a Samsung Smart TV.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there's a bit of a...
Do you know why they do that, though?
So they can hear me fapping!
No.
Yeah,
they
the
do that
Samsung thing. I remember
Because
that.
I'm that interesting.
It's yeah, but people go, oh well, they're listening to my private there's billions of Samsung. How many employees do you think they have? They're not listening to your
for every person on the planet.
No, I don't want it if it's a Samsung TV, but if you put it in a Google Home or an Amazon Dot, fine. Sorry.
So people need to understand what they're using that for is machine learning and learning how to understand people better with voice recognition. I mean, I know that not all of this data is used for the best purposes, but there is no one sitting there on their couch listening to your conversations from halfway across the world.
Except the FBI.
The fact that it's just being done. There was no real direct consent given. If the police want to monitor my phone calls, they have to go to a court of law to tap my phone line if I'm doing something illegal. Samsung aren't the police and just... But yeah, it's going to lead to Skynet.
Is Skynet really a bad thing?
He says can record you anytime, all the time, as long as the battery is inside the phone.
Here's the thing. You know what? I just did a walkthrough of my house, and I've got a camera that watches me, and my phone knows where I am at all times, and I'll be out with my phone, and it'll be like, you should go eat here. Based on your history, you might like this restaurant. Oh, here's a news article that might interest... Everyone knows everything about me already, but guess what? The machine knows. There's no person at Google watching me. Oh, David might like this.
Your phone said to you, based on your fecal analysis, you should eat at these places.
Well, no, I mean, Japan does that.
Japan
no,
would do
but straight... I don't know. It's like, I don't fucking matter. Nobody at Google is going to be like, yes, we've got to watch David. He's doing stuff, and we need to watch him. I know I matter to you, but what CIG Sherman says.
More questions before the end.
We're not that important. Yes, sorry. Okay, Commander Llama asks, do you think Alpha 4.0 will aim for a single system vertical slice? Slice defined here as having the majority of the game systems in place and interacting. This would lead into a beta with multiple systems interacting and then the game's launch. Naive apology, I don't know if a new long-term roadmap was revealed or not.
Quick answer. You said single system. I think 4.0 would definitely have multiple systems.
I think 4.0... I would hope that 3.0 by its end will be a single complete system with most, if not all, of the planned major gameplay elements.
I believe the current plan is for all of Stanton to be complete by the end of 3.0. Mm-hmm. Like the 3.x branch. That was the last we heard. I would imagine 4.0 will probably have a second system.
Yep.
And especially since they've already done things like during the CitizenCon demo, they were pointing out as they flew out of the atmosphere of ArcCorp that you could see pyro in the sky. It was this giant like red blotch because it's, I guess it must be like a red nebula or something there. But you could actually see it in the sky. So they're already starting to think ahead to that. And I think so. I think 4.0 you'll probably get a second system.
I have to. How the fuck does that work? Is it a giant skybox that pyro's there, or is that pyro? Like how?
I think it's both. I think what they do is because there aren't enough systems to create all the stars right in the sky. So I think that it's a background like sky like sky simulation, but the actual systems you can see if you look at them.
Okay.
If you know what I mean, they're also there.
Isn't it very similar to the whole networking system where if you can't see it, it doesn't get rendered. It's just bits of information. Whereas if you turn your vision to it, the client would be instructed to render it.
I think so, but it's probably basically like an extreme version of LODs, like levels of detail, where
Yes.
the only thing, like, they don't actually render the whole system. They just have a representation of the system unless you're close to it. Like, this is what it looks like from your direction. But no, I think that's pretty cool, and that's what I think we're gonna get with 4.0 is like probably jump points.
Okay, so I want to try and get through at least the next 4 questions. If we don't get to your question this week, we are going to save it for next week. Don't worry, we will always answer the questions that we haven't gotten to when we can. They will be first. But Headclot asks, on Tuesday next week, HTC will be announcing a standalone VR headset. What are your thoughts on this? My thought is great. But they need to announce some games first. Most games don't support VR yet because it makes too many people sick. It makes me sick if I play VR too long. Oh my headache and like just ugh. But standalone will be better because god damn it, those cords are annoying. I really do hope that CIG looks at where VR is and looks at what it can be used for, because I think VR could actually be really good in Star Citizen when you're flying a ship or when you're sitting at a ship console. But I really
Or in any vehicle.
not in a vehicle, but I also don't know how. I think that especially in something like Star Citizen, as soon as you're not sitting in that ship, you need to take your headset off and look at the screen, because movement is honestly too sickening and there's too much going on. So I hope CIG still looks at it. VR is still really, really early, but if you haven't tried it, honestly, see if there's a place that you can try it in your city, because there is something absolutely amazing about being able to reach down and pick things up and like just being in the game. It does feel excellent, even if it doesn't feel comfortable yet.
I was shaking my head because, sorry, I'm going to use one of my trademark answers. I both could and couldn't care less. I mean, I'm VR. That's not for me. I also get motion sick very easily. People suggested Dramamine for stuff like that. If I had to take a drug to try to enjoy something,
It's not worth it.
yeah, it's not really worth it for me.
Yeah.
And so I don't know the cost of the ATC or anything like that. Last I heard, the market for VR isn't as great as it used to be. I don't know if it's picking up or going down still, but I thought it was a downward trend.
It's probably a downwards trend. They still need games. I'm hoping that it'll pick up a bit when Fallout comes out this year. I'm really looking forward to playing Fallout 4 in VR, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs more industry support, and it is still new. But anyway, Idris Carrier asks,
Well, can I actually
go,
answer that question?
Go.
I would like to answer.
Go.
I think the fact that it's not tied to a PC is going to make it very limited. You need the pro. I mean, what 6F's 6F's and Caps. His computer was dual 1080s, and it did pretty good with the Vive. And
keep in mind he wasn't running both 1080s.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
It's a single
SLI
because SLI is honestly it's the
SLI is garbage.
Well, SLI is garbage, and so is whatever AMD's thing is, Crossfire.
Oh, they're both
none of them work.
AMD is moving away from Crossfire, in fact.
Yeah, everyone's moving away from it because it doesn't work.
Yeah,
But
but no, you're right. So it's a 1080, but still, you're not going to get the power of a 1080 into a freaking headset.
Yeah.
It's going to be really low power. It'll basically be a Gear VR competitor. It'll be better than the Gear VR because they are apparently going to have inside-out positional tracking.
Yeah.
So it'll actually have positional tracking, which will make it better. But it will be useless for games, and so I think it's going to be a very niche device.
Okay.
I would like them. You know what would be way better is a wireless like a wireless
Set.
like PC connected Vive.
Yes.
Way better.
I'd like that much more.
But that's a hell of a lot of bandwidth to put over a wireless connection,
Like
which is why it's not really there.
Like Matt Sherman says in chat, SLI and Crossfire can work, but it's really cost prohibitive for developers to support it. Lots of developers honestly don't. I've actually never played through any of the Witcher series because I'm a fucking asshole. I want to play 1, 2, 3. But back when 1 was new and like decent, and I could cope with the graphics because I'm a graphic whore. My video card was a 295, which was a 1 card, 2 card solution.
Mm-hmm.
And Witcher 1 did not support the 2 cards, which meant that the sun bled through the entire world everywhere. So anywhere I was walking, the sun bled through everything in the entire world. It's just, yeah, support.
For people like me who have a limited budget, I would probably get two 1070s or two 1070 Ti or something like that instead of one 1080. But at this point, it's just better to get the most powerful card.
It's always been the case of one better card is better than 2 shitty cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it still does it the same way, but Nvidia's SLI, all it used to do, I don't know if it still functions the same, but your secondary card, all it did was physics. It was basically a souped up guy of physics.
No.
Doesn't work. Okay.
It's supposed to do everything. The problem is that the connection between the 2 cards and the way the game, most importantly, the way the software deals with it, is different from game to game to game to game.
Keep in mind,
and
here's the thing.
It's usually doesn't work.
How many people do you know that actually have 2 cards?
Very few know. No one actually.
Why the hell? Like, developers aren't going to support 2 cards because it's a hell of a lot of extra work for them to go out and make things work for 2 cards. When guess what? Nobody has 2 cards because everyone just goes.
I wouldn't. I mean,
not nobody. It's not nobody, but it's.
I know, but there's still the enthusiast crowd who still like to have the 2 cards, the two 1080 Ti and stuff like that. So that still exists, but
there's not as many.
I don't know if they're making enough money from that segment to justify it anymore.
Okay, I want to quickly get through Idris Carrier's 2 questions, and then we've got a lot of questions that we're going to hit next week. So Idris Carrier asks, do we know when we'll get the new RSI website?
No, we don't know. That is not
Hopefully
a thing
soon.
that we know. Hopefully sooner rather than later. They sent out a teaser of it with just before CitizenCon.
Yep.
I think they originally wanted it to be ready for CitizenCon, but take things as they,
If it's not ready, it's not ready.
Hey, hey, Eris, we need to send an email to Turbulent.
Yes, we need to. Hey, anyone in chat got some contacts at Turbulent? Because we need to get in touch with Turbulent. We want to go visit Turbulent in December.
Side note: they have updated the spec sheet page.
Yes.
Cool.
Idris Carrier also asks, what information do you expect from the Squadron 42's production schedule? What they have left to do, and
but how do you expect them to present it? Because like we said a few weeks ago, it's not like they're going to say, yeah, mission 6 boss Stan Laurel ready to die.
I expect them to say, chapter 1 mission 3 missing this, chapter 4 missions 7 through 12 still in white box, chapter 12 animation's not right, need to fix this, overall this is not right. Like,
I expect it to be very simple, to basically be a list of things that need to be done. So like AI, graphics, missions, ships, locations, and things like that, and just to basically have them on a progress chart. I think it's going to be very simple. Also, it'll probably have, because CIG apparently always has to do this themselves, a rough date. Rough.
I hope that there's not a rough date, to be honest. I don't want to see any dates. I don't even
talking
know.
about calendar dates?
I don't even know if I want to see a coming 2018. I expect it'll come 2018. I don't even want to see a coming 2018.
They should totally, just for shits and giggles, they should totally put a coming 2028.
No, that would be bad. Oh my god, that would be bad. That would backfire just a little. Okay, so Brivals, Fastcart, Haramis 3 times, Headclot, Brave Star 1, and Headclot again. We will get to your questions next week. I'm sorry we didn't have time to get to them this week. It is now 4 o'clock. We are going to be shutting down the relay station, but keep in mind, we are just stop 1 on the ever-going journey that is the Podsat Saturday. So, if you would like to continue your Podsat Saturday with more Podsats on Saturday, you can join me with Paul, the Astropub, on the Astropub this Saturday, which is today. Let me check who's going to be on. 1 second. There's a show board. It's not... Come on, Discord. Okay, it's going to be Paul from the Astropub, myself, Grackies, Sea Dizzle, Grit Spitter, and possibly someone else. I'm not entirely sure, but join me there in I believe it's about 2 hours. I hope it's 2 hours, because that's when I'm showing up. Thank you so much for being on. Fastcart, thank you for literally last night saying you'd be on here. Great to have you on, as always. 3 cheers to Fastcart. He does so much for us and everyone else.
I don't know why you keep having me back, because I keep being racist, making 3/5 jokes, stuff like that.
That's why we kept having you back. Shiver, thanks for being Shiver. Nehkara, thank you for that wonderful edutainment session. To everyone else, we'll see you next week. We'll see you the Relay Replay. We'll see you wherever else we see you, and we'll see you, as always, in the verse.
I
Thanks
told
for hanging out.
Even Knievel up in here.